We're in Tofino!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This one's a fun one. My best friend and I had just over 48 hours to go on a little getaway, and we thought what better way to spend the weekend than in Tofino. The journey from Whistler to Tofino takes about 6 to 7 hours with a ferry over to Vancouver Island, and since we left in the evening, we got to the island and spent our first night at Sprout Lake Provincial Park. The drive from Sprout Lake has some really incredible views right from the Pacific Rim Highway. We had winding roads, old-growth trees, rivers, creeks, and the moon. Our early drive treated us to her peeking behind some of these clouds. The island is similar to mainland BC, but there's something that sets it apart and makes it feel so magical and whimsy, and I just love coming to the island every time. Tofino has such a great vibe to it as well. It's a little surf town and its population nearly triples in the summer months. There's so much else to see and do in the other seasons as well. We got a coffee at Rhino Coffee House and took a walk through the shops before our first activity of the trip.
This is our first actual adventure of our Tofino trip. We're going whale watching. It is probably the nicest day that we could have had to go whale watching. We're going out with Jamie's whaling station. Fingers crossed that we see something, anything.
This tour takes you along the coastline of the Clayoquot Sound into known feeding grounds of gray whales. And while this is the most common whale to see right now, sometimes humpbacks and even orcas can be spotted here as well. It is incredible to see these animals in their natural habitats, but we're at the mercy of nature. We're excited to see any whales or any wildlife at all, even if it's just for 2 seconds. But with good whale watching companies, they'll never put animals at risk for entertainment. Viewing whales from the boat, it's important to stay at least 100 meters away from them at all times, and for orcas, that distance doubles. And sometimes whales can even do something called mugging, and this is where they approach a boat out of curiosity when the engines are off. If that happens, we have to stay put until the whale moves back to a safe distance before they leave.
I think we've got eyes on a gray whale.
Even though gray whales are the most common to see, we were still really excited to see 4 of them. They're these beautiful gray and white whales with no dorsal fin. Instead, they have knuckle-like bumps along their backs, and the white color is often from barnacles or sea lice. They can carry up to 400 pounds of sea lice and barnacles, and the spotting that this leaves is unique to each whale. These whales make the longest annual migration of any mammal in the world. They spend summers in the Arctic, and they migrate south to the waters of Baja California, Mexico. We did this tour in fall, so we caught them right in the middle of their journey. They're baleen bottom feeders, meaning that they use bristly baleen plates to filter feed their prey from the seawater. They typically roll onto their sides and swim slowly along the shallows, taking huge mouthfuls of mud and filtering it to get their food. Being bottom feeders, they actually create these mud blooms, which are packed with nutrients that enrich the seafloor. And this increases the abundance of crustaceans, which helps the birds, and everybody stays happy. After being nearly hunted to extinction in the 1920s, they've increased rapidly, and they're now a species of least concern, which is incredible news.
Did you get it?
Now, if you guys look over to the port side, that was the elusive log. The log travels on its own.
Okay, perfect.
After watching the whales for a while, we found California sea lions, and they are loud, but they're brilliant. I love them so much. They're intelligent and inquisitive, but oh wow, they have a smell to them. The males are much larger than the females, but both can dive up to 900 feet and stay underwater for nearly 10 minutes by slowing down their heart rate. This is no longer a functioning fishery, but they've made themselves right at home. And while they do love to hang out here, they can spend several days in the water, and they also love to body surf, which is so funny. They're actually closer related to bears than harbor seals that we see commonly around Vancouver. And next we found a raft of otters, which was so cool and potentially the highlight. This is a group of male otters rafting together, and males and females raft separately. The females raft closer to the shore for safety with the pups, and they focus on parenting and resource finding, whereas the males will raft for social bonding and reproductive strategies. The raft itself is to rest and groom and to sleep. These otters have the densest fur in all of the animal kingdom, over 1 million hairs per square inch. This dense fur almost ruined their populations during the fur trades, and by the 1900s you wouldn't have found any along the Tofino shores. And sea otters eat sea urchins, which helps keep the sea urchin populations down, which also really helps kelp forests to flourish. That's a sentence. Kelp forests to flourish. And then on our boat ride back, we saw a bald eagle. Canada has a majority of the world's population of bald eagles, and we see so many here in British Columbia. And a fun fact is the sound that you hear in movies that's associated with bald eagles is actually a red-tailed hawk. Red-tailed hawks sound like this. A bald eagle actually sounds like this.
You can turn your head.
Oh, welcome back to Tofino, everyone. Just slowing on down here to minimize the wake.
After our whale watching tour, we went to the brewery for a local pint, some delicious food, and a couple games of cards before heading back to our campsite for one of the best sunsets on the West Coast.
Wow! Are you for real?
I've only been to Tofino a few times, and every time it's the sunsets that absolutely blow me away. I am a girl who loves a sunrise and a sunset, and I will freak out every time out of excitement, but this was truly unbelievable. The fact that our campsite was backed onto the beach like this, I loved staying at Surf Grove and will definitely be back.
Good morning. We're on our second full day here in Tofino. And yeah, yesterday was incredible. We had some really nice weather. And today it's rainy, but it's kind of nice. It just gives off a different vibe. We're doing a couple things. We had breakfast at Ukee Poke this morning, which was absolutely incredible. We're gonna go pop down to the beach for a bit. And then I think the plan is to go over to Meares Island. I think that's how you say it. We're gonna take a water taxi over, do a little hike over there, and I'm really excited to show you what we see. And hopefully some tide pooling this afternoon because I can't come anywhere coastal without doing some tide pooling. The campground here that we're staying at, Surf Grove, has been incredible. The facilities are so beautiful. We're right on the beach. We're right by like food options. They have sauna. It's been lovely. So yeah, let's go. We're just coming down the dock. We're taking a water taxi over to Meares Island. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to see there yet.
The water taxi is only a phone call away and a 10 to 15 minute ride. Our taxi driver was such a sweetheart and we chatted the entire time in the rain until we got to the island. And part of the water taxi fare goes to trail maintenance, and this is well worth it. We had a really, really good time. Meares Island is home to ancient western red cedars, salmon runs, tidal pools, waterfowl, and has rich history of Indigenous significance.
We just got dropped off at Meares Island here in Tofino, and I think we might be the only people on this island today, so I'm going to take you with and show you what we find.
In the 80s, this island was actually set to be logged, but due to protests, it never went through and saved these ancient trees. We, of course, had to do the big tree walk, and some of the trees on this island are between 800 to 1,300 years old. Mom for putting this in my van 2 years ago.
Thank you, Glynis. I hope she watches this video too and she hears us saying that. Say thank you, Glynis. Thank you, Mom, she would say. We thought that this bag was waterproof. It's not.
One way to find out. Just put it in the rain and it gets wet.
And it's not waterproof. Look at that.
Western cedars have been called the tree of life. From shelter to canoes, this decay-resistant bark has long sustained people with its multi-purpose fibers. It was wood for homes, totems, and used to build boats. It was even woven into clothes, mats, and blankets. It really is the tree of life.
We're in a rainforest in Tofino. I don't want to leave. I'm wearing the poncho. And the camera case is underneath. But you know what? Isn't ideal. But that's okay. Because I freaking love nature. And if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. So we were told that on this little boardwalk hike we'd see 2 phenomenally large trees. And we thought that we already saw them, but we just came around the corner and this is the first of the 2 ancient growth cedars. I am looking at one of the largest western red cedars and oldest western red cedars in the entire world.
And this is the Hanging Garden, estimated to be between 1,500 and 2,000 years old. It is a 5.5 meter wide red cedar. It's one of the oldest life forms on Earth, and it is slowly dying, but with its death comes new life.
It goes on forever. This is the tree that they were talking about, the Hanging Garden, and it is supposedly one of the oldest and largest western red cedars in the entire world, which is absolutely incredible. We can see a little bit of it, but apparently it houses 28 different species, making it supreme nurse log, which is so special. It's so big. Oh my god.
Lichen hangs off the branches, hemlocks grow around it, and animals make this now nurse tree its home.
That was a very wet but very successful mission. We saw 2 of the biggest western red cedars. Once we got the cameras covered up and we weren't worried about damaging our equipment, it's just very fun to come out and play in the rain.
I could spend days exploring forests like this one, but we're headed back to the van, trying to keep all the camera gear dry, and off to another round of cards at the Tofino brewery.
We finished up on Meares Island and we had to come back to the Tofino brewery because it's a very good vibe here. I'm gonna play some cards and I want to show you guys my cards. Okay, we ended up at the brewery a little later than expected, so it's very dark now, but we're at Chesterman's Beach, which we've heard has really great tide pooling. We've got headlamps. Where's my We've got headlamps. That's Avery. We thought we'd be able to see her more. We've got headlamps, we've got a dream, and we're gonna see what we can find. Hell yeah. What do you want to see tide pooling tonight?
I want to see a little crab.
I want to see a starfish. Easy please. Matter of fact, please don't ever let the rain stop you from doing anything, because if you get stuck in the rain, it can be kind of negative. If you embrace it, it's so much fun, and please don't ever let a rainy day stop you.
Oh, I just love tide pooling. It feels like an entirely different world. A world normally underwater, weirdly exposed for a couple hours for us to snoop around and find some of the coolest stuff. You can see sea stars and mussels, barnacles, crabs, sea anemones, sea urchins, shells. It is so fun to look at these tiny ecosystems that are happening under the water in coastal regions all around the world. We spent hours tide pooling here. This is one of our favorite things to do together when we're in coastal areas. And an important note is to research the tide time so you don't get stuck out there. Bring the right gear, bring a headlamp, and please only take photos and leave footprints. Do not take anything. We can just observe respectfully. There are a lot of different species in these videos, and I was going to link a good article for tide pool IDing in the caption, but I can't find one. So should I create one? That could be kind of fun. Or if you guys know one, feel free to comment it.
Hey, if you watched this far, you've made it to the segment where it's nighttime. We're gonna use, let's say 3 minutes. Whoever finds the coolest stuff wins. We're gonna go have a look. It's very dark and it's very rainy. See y'all in 3 minutes. Kind of a sand dollar. A bunch of these guys. I got one clam. Clam? No, not clam. Oyster. Mussel, sorry. I got a big mussel, I think. And then, guys, what are these? They'll never know.
We looked this up after, and these are actually comb jellies called sea gooseberries, and they're one of the oldest animals on Earth. Over 500 million years old, predating the dinosaurs. That's really cool, and I was just holding them in my hand. After our exciting night in the tide pools, we finished off at the Dirty Mac for a game of pool and a celebratory round. We had an early start the next day, driving back to Wisk into Cathedral Grove, which is an old-growth forest full of Douglas firs and western red cedars. It's a BC provincial park that's preserved this section of lush old-growth forest, and it's a really easy stop just off the highway, and it doesn't take too long to do the loop, so please take the time to do it. You won't regret it. And then, of course, we had to make a mandatory stop at Goats on the Roof. If you're going to or from Tofino, please stop at Goats on the Roof. You just have to. It's a one-stop shop with literally everything, including Goats on the Roof. This was a perfect little getaway full of wildlife and adventures and beachside camping, and of course, more great time spent together. Back to Whistler for the next adventure, but if you're visiting the Sea to Sky and you have a couple days to spend, I'll include my little itinerary of this trip below. It really was amazing. See you guys next time.